going to discuss about the if, elif and else condition in Python. If, elif and else condition in Python. This is one of the most important if you are going to generate some flow diagram into the program or interpret the flow charts into the Python language. This loop or this condition, it's not a loop, it's a condition, is more important in the Python that if, elif and else condition. And we can see that one, if, elif and else condition. So how we can do that? So I'm just going to do a context of power to calculate. If you have a system and you are calculating the mechanical power and electrical power, then if it is not the failure. So very simple calculation I'm going to do, and we can do that one. So basically I'm going to calculate mechanical power, electrical power, and if it is not, then system going to failure. So I'm just going to define some parameter for that. Voltage is equal to, that's one, my first parameter is 60, and my current, I'm just like putting the random value, so you can put any value, even though you can put the input to get a better program. And speed in RPM, even you can just like 2500, even though you can just comment it like this and say what's the unit is this RPM. And the last parameter is called torque. What's my torque? Because speed is in all others are small letters, so speed also, torque also maybe a small letter. So torque is maybe 50 Newton meter. So it's not a matter. So just calculation is not a matter. Just like finding a concept of if, elif, and else statement. So I start to power input. So then I'm just asking a prompt that input, that's a function. And I'm going to calculate. Then what you want to calculate, power or failure, or basically if anything going wrong, then we just say the system going to fail. Then I'm going to close that. Maybe I just, until I develop, just zoom in. So power input, I just ask calculate the power of failure. And the basic thing is here, you can see sometimes people, I want to type whether it's a power or failure we want to calculate. Sometimes they will people will type power in a small letter or the power in a capital. So for that one we just type lower. So that means whatever the values we are typing, it will turn to the lowercase. Then let us start with our statement. If power input, what we define, is equal to then power, that means all the values, whatever the values we type, if it is a power, then it's converted to the small letter. That's like we using the lower. And then we are going to calculate the power. Power calculated, always is better to use the full description as a variable, otherwise it will be quite hard you to understand. So power input is, we are checking the condition. And power calculation, what is the power calculate in the so we are calculating. Then again I'm going to ask whether which power we have to calculate. So power calculate input, then I'm calculating, you want to calculate mechanical or electrical. If it's a mechanical, you have to type mech, and if it is a electrical, you have to type electrical. And again again this also I'm just converted to the lowercase. Then one thing we can see that the power, if power input is equal to lowercase power, then we are going to calculate power calculation is equal to input mechanical and lower. Then I would say else what going to happen, that I'm going to print system failed. So instead of anything, I'm just saying apart from that, apart from the power, if you type anything, then I will say system failed, then check the FMEA, check FMEA. Yeah, here one thing I would like to notice that if you just how to add this one, and like the semicolon, and also the other thing I would like to share with you, that if you just like put this one, both are in the same line, then it won't work. So you have to move that one, then only, because it's make sure that this condition and this one is not running in the same line, then these both are in parallel. So for example, if you just move this one, it's the code, there is some error will pop up, unintended does not match. So that means if and the corresponding else is both are should be in the same line. So, and also all the lines should be like come to the description part. If you come to the same line, then the error also going to happen in the same time. So that also we have to be consider. Then I'm just starting another if loop, and in that one I will say power, that's a variable, power calculated, what I calculated is equal to mechanical. If I just calculated what the power I calculated is mechanical, then what gonna happen, that I'm just going to calculate power mechanical. I'm defining that's a parameter, and the parameter we can see 2 pi nt by 60 is the mechanical power. Basically, if you don't know the formula, 2 and pi is 3.1 and n is speed and t is the torque. So 2 pi by 60. So I would say for your understanding, I would say that's a power is equal to 2 into 3.14 into uh, speed multiplied by torque divided by 60. So this is the formula, and so this is a mechanical power, basically power mechanical. So this is the one we are calculating. So 2 into 3.14 by 60, I already calculated that, that's 0.10, then multiply by then the parameter speed, then multiply by torque. So we already calculate the mechanical power, then subsequently we have to print that mechanical power. So print power mechanical. So we just calculate the mechanical power and print. So instead of, here we can see in the beginning it's ask input calculate the power of failure. If I type power, then it will come to the this loop. If it is a failure, it come to the else, and is come out from the system. And if I just type a power, then it will continue, then again it will ask, do you want to calculate the mechanical or the electrical power? So this mechanical or electrical lives in here, then we have to type either mechanical or electrical. And if you type mechanical, then you calculate the mechanical power, and by using the formula 0.1 into speed into torque, and display that mechanical power. And other condition is, for example, if I type the, if I type ELIF, and ELIF is just like then again my power calculated is electrical. So if it is a electrical, then what going to happen? Then I calculate the electrical power. So here I'm going to calculate. So maybe I'm just typing that one in the same line. And instead of that, here if power calculation is equal to electrical, then I make sure that I'm just calculating here electrical power. So I'm defining a parameter power electrical is equal to, so electrical power is the voltage multiplied by current. So it's a simple formula. I'm not going to mention that one. Voltage multiplied by current. And again I have to print this one. Print power electrical. So, and also once you complete the code, make sure that you don't have any error. So then check that one. There's a semicolon is missing over here. Perfect. Then yeah, fine. So let us run this code. I'm just my output going to display over here. Just clear all sign means to clear everything over there. And if I'm gonna run, it will ask calculate the power or failure. So here it's asked, the first prompt will be work, or after reading all the voltage, current, speed and everything, power input calculate the power or failure. My power or failure, I'm just going to calculate power of the system. This time I'm just, sometime I will type a capital P, sometime I will type small p. That's why we put the dot lower, so that we can either, doesn't matter, you can type the capital or small letter, everything is converted, all the letters converted to the small letter. Then it's come to the this loop, okay, power, and if it's come to the this loop, and if power input is equal to power, then this one will happen. So now power calculation, so what kind of power you want to calculate, mechanical or electrical? So it doesn't matter you type capital mechanical or small letter mechanical, it will convert it to the lowercase, then it will display. So then if it's a capital mechanical, it will calculate the um, mechanical power, that's 0.1 into 2500 into 50, so that's 12,500, and it's come out from the loop. So if I'm gonna run this one more time for understanding, and if I just say okay, my value is power, and instead of mechanical power, I just want to calculate the electrical power. So electrical power, what should I type? I should type the electrical. I can type either capital E or the small letter e, because we converted. So when I type the electrical power, then what is that? Voltage multiplied by current, that's 60 divided by 60 multiplied by 20, that's 1200, and that we can print as electrical power. And the final case I'm going to run one more time. So instead of power, I'm going to type failure. That's instead of power was capital P, and failure is sorry, power was small letter p when I type both time, but here I type the capital P, then it's a okay, system failed, uncheck FMEA, because it's not going for any of this loop, but instead of it's coming out from that loop.